So we thank you guys for coming out this morning to offer James and our family your support today on this as we begin this new journey together. My name is Tracy, and I'm James's wife. And before I hand the microphone over to James, I would just like to take a moment to let everyone know how we got to this point where we are today. James and I have been married for 22 years, but we were only 19 years old when we met as counselors at summer camp in Maryland. Having been raised in Oklahoma and Texas, I never in a million years that I thought that I would meet the love of my life in Maryland, of all places, and then discovered that he was from Tennessee. Tennessee, I didn't even know anyone who lived in Tennessee. In fact, the first time that I ever went to Tennessee was when my dad and I drove through it to get to Maryland to go to that camp. Little did I know that day as we were driving through this very long estate that I would one day call this great place my home. And I'm now proud to say that I've lived in Tennessee longer than I've ever lived anywhere growing up, so I consider myself a true Tennessean now at heart. After our summer camp teenage romance, followed by our engagement the next year, we were married at the young age of 21. Of course, James will tell you, sorry, having some wind issues. James will tell you that he was actually 20 when he married me, not yet legal or old enough to rent a car, because he technically didn't turn 21 until 4 days after our wedding. It is an ongoing joke between us that even though that we are less than 4 months apart in age, and we even graduated high school in the same year, every single important event of our lives happened during those few months that we're different ages. So when we married, of course, I was 21, he was 20. Our firstborn, Caitlin, was born. I was 28, and he was 27. And our youngest, Haley, on the left of me here, I was 30, and he was 29 when she was born. So what are the odds of that? At least today I can say, as we stand here at this moment, we are currently the same age. But guess who will again be younger than me on a particular day in November, a day that we are here to speak to you about today? Of course, that's right. The cycle never ends. James and I had the unique opportunity in that we started our lives together before we finished college or had our careers. Looking back now, I'm sure our family probably thought that we were crazy at the time, getting married so young. Without our lives and careers yet established, but we were so in love that we didn't even care. Those first few years together were memorable and fun, but boy, we were poor. We worked part-time jobs, we went to school, and we prayed that gas prices would not rise again, because we were afraid we wouldn't even be able to pay our bills if gas went up to $1.60. Eventually, I graduated and became a teacher, and James graduated to become an IT professional. We had come so far from those early days. Before we decided to start our family, we knew we wanted to live in a family-friendly community with great schools for our kids to go to and for me to teach in. We did some research, and we decided that Mount Juliet was the place to be and the best place to raise our young family. I'm so glad that we made that decision. Caitlin is now 15 and heading into her sophomore year at the new Green Hill High School, and Haley is 13 and she'll be in 8th grade this fall at Mount Juliet Middle School. I spent 13 years teaching in our community at Lakeview Elementary, and last year I started working and teaching at the new Gladeville Middle School. Go Wildcats. We're so thankful to be raising our two girls in this wonderful community of Mount Juliet. If you're wondering how James got his start becoming involved in our community, it all began with the infamous red light traffic cameras. For those of you who may not have been around here 12 years ago, the red light cameras were the hot topic. And they would have been the most talked about topic on Hip Mount Juliet if Hip Mount Juliet had been a thing back then. James could not stand those cameras, and he thought that they were a money trap for an out-of-state company that did little to nothing to benefit public safety. James eventually decided he wanted to do something to make a difference in our city, so he decided to run for city commissioner. Our girls, who are now teenagers, were only 3 and 5 at the time, and I remember that before the election, the three of us would stand at the entrance of our neighborhood, and we would hold his campaign signs and wave to people as they were driving by. And James still thinks that he won that election based on the issues and his great plans for our city, but I think it was actually our two cute little girls holding the Vote for My Daddy signs that they made and held up on those days before the election. We were so proud of James when he won his first ever race, and we've been so proud of him and all he's accomplished in our city the past several years as commissioner and vice mayor. My girls and I can tell you that James is a loving husband and father, and he always supports us in everything we do. He's always there for us when we need him, and he always knows how to make us laugh. We know better than anyone how much James loves Mount Juliet and how dedicated he is to our community. We've watched him in action during city meetings. We've watched him communicate through countless phone calls, emails, and letters to constituents who need assistance. We watched him help turn the Mount Juliet Fire Department from an idea on paper into a reality. We watched him go on third shift ride-alongs with Mount Juliet police officers so he can find out firsthand what they need to keep our city safe. And we've seen him take off in his truck at a moment's notice if there's any emergency in the city, such as the recent tornado or storm damage, house fires, or any other situation in which he wants to offer help to people and give them his support. James and I love this city so much, and we are here today to put in motion the next step that James has planned to make our wonderful city even greater. And with that, I'd like to introduce my husband and Vice Mayor of Mount Juliet, James Maness.
Thank you so much. And what a great crowd we have out here today. Thank you so much for taking the time to be out here to come and share this moment with us. I want to thank my wife for that wonderful introduction. You know, every child out there deserves at some point in their life to have a teacher that is committed to them as she is, that's willing to put in the hours and sacrifice that she has done over the years and throughout her career. And I tell you, those hours of sacrifice have not gone unnoticed by many. But I just want you to know, too, that I couldn't do anything out here. I couldn't do any of the run. I couldn't have done what I've done over the years without the continued support of my family. I also want to thank my supporters for the encouragement that you've given me, that the volunteers and the future volunteers for your hard work. We have a great city. I'm proud. I am very proud to represent you. I'm proud of the city of Mount Juliet, and I'm proud of what we stand for safe neighborhoods, for the quality of schools that we have, and for our family values. This is the place I've chosen to raise my children, and this is the place that many people have chosen to retire to. I'm proud of the fact that we are a friendly and welcoming community, and I'm excited about the future. I'm excited to stand here with my family, my friends, and my supporters to make this announcement. My name is James Maness, and I'm declaring my candidacy to be the next mayor of the city of Mount Juliet. Thank you. I'm running for mayor because leadership matters, because vision matters. As your next mayor, my top priority will be transportation. In this last year, or this budget that we've been going through, there were talks about cutting or reducing our transportation plans. I want you to know now is not the time to talk about cuts in our transportation program, but now is the time to double down on it, on improving our roads, improving traffic. I also stand here as a strong supporter of public safety. Right now we're standing in front of the Mount Juliet Police Department, and there seems to be a lot of questions about various police departments across the country. Our police department's response to this national incident has been a textbook example. An example of transparency that our citizens deserve and a model for other departments to emulate across the country. I will continue my commitment to supporting our police department and our fire department, and just like last year, I will fight all and any efforts to lay off first responders. I'm committed to ensuring, I'm committing to ensuring our fire department is properly staffed, and as your next mayor, I want to seek to improve our fire ISO rating to level 4 in this city by 2024. With the Parks Department, I've served on the Parks Board for several years now, and I want you to know I'm committed to seeing our Parks Department improved. When it comes to your tax dollars, my goal is to always to control spending and question the need for various city programs. Sales tax is our primary source of funding our city and our city operations. I will continue to advocate for growing our economic base and for diverse economic resources and an economic base for this city. We want to support our existing businesses, and we also want to support businesses that bring quality, high-paying office jobs to our city. I seek for sensible, responsible growth with collaborative planning, as well as to take our city into the next decade with the new and unique challenges that faces. This city, the city of Mount Juliet's not defined by its politicians, but by the quality of the people that choose to call our city home. After taking a direct hit from a tornado, I saw firsthand neighbors helping neighbors. Believe me when I say our best is ahead. Thank you. Thank you for your support. I asked you now for your vote in November for my run for Mount Juliet City Mayor. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here in person. And may God bless the great city of Mount Juliet.
Thank you for coming out today and for your support of my father. If you haven't already done so, we have sign-up sheets under the white tent for our newsletter to volunteer and for yard signs. Thank you.